This is the story of Dracula, a creature who destroys all whom he touches. Dracula the terrifying, the feared, who sleeps in the tombs of the dead by day and arises at night to inflict his terror upon the innocent and the unsuspecting.
Oh, you must help me. You must. You're my only hope. You must.
I'll help you. I promise.
Please try and understand. This is not Lucy, the sister you loved. It's only a shell, possessed and corrupted by the evil of Dracula.
How do you destroy a fiend who has so far proven himself indestructible? Those who come to end his reign of terror stay to become his victims.
Castle Dracula is somewhere here in Klausenberg. Will you tell me how I get there?
You ordered a meal, sir. As an innkeeper, it's my duty to serve you. When you've eaten, I ask you to go and leave us in peace.
This is the doctor who dares to challenge the vampire Dracula. This is the anguished man who fears for the lives of his beloved, the girl who is his sister, and the one that is his wife. Dracula, the bedeviled master of all that is evil.
That tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world will have full sway. Yes, Virginia, there really was a Dracula. In Search of Dracula, the startling bestseller the nation couldn't put down becomes the motion picture you'll never get out of your mind. Yes, there really is a Transylvania. Yes, his evil presence is still seen in the Carpathian Mountains. Search for the most incredible of incredible adventures. Search for the most amazing of amazing stories. Did he really drink the blood of his victims? Are all the legends really true? Yes, the villages still tremble when the church bells toll on St. George's Day. Search, and every step will lead you to a man who was born 5 centuries ago. His name is Dracula. Yes, Virginia, there really was a Dracula. In Search of Dracula.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I am your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friends, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
And Mr. Fresh Rogan.
How's it going, guys?
How is it going, guys? I hope you boys are doing good tonight. I hope everybody out there is doing good tonight. It's Friday. We made it.
Yay, we made it.
Yep. Another one in the books. And we're here to just chill and watch some public domain horror like we always do. Decompress with whatever kind of week you had. Maybe you've had a great week. Maybe you've had a shitty week. Whatever it is, we're here to just lighten the mood with some, tonight, very vintage public domain horror. And
we've got a very light movie for you to unwind after your
super light.
after a long week.
Super light. No, if you love really dense German intertitles, then boy have we got the movie for you. I
hope you're ready to read.
Hope you got your reading glasses on. Tonight we're watching Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror from 1922. 22. And this is our silent movie for season 5. Every season we watch one silent movie. I'm going to have to up the quota eventually, but right now, I know I was going to say, much to the protest, I'm sure, of Fresh. I am at some point. I mean, we're gonna have to clear the pipeline a little bit.
Season 10 is gonna be silent stream.
All silent. The golden age. Yeah, that's
silence is golden.
Silence. That's what they say. And no, so we do one every season, and I like to get them out of the way early if I can. So we're watching Nosferatu tonight, and this is a certified classic. Like, I know,
what a film to have for our silent film.
It is. It's certainly, we've watched some before that have. I mean, we've seen The Golem, we've seen The Phantom Carriage, we've seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. Those are a little dense. I think we really enjoyed The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which was our first silent movie in season 1. We saw that,
and another classic.
That I think is the one that we've enjoyed the most, and I think tonight's film comes the closest to that because it is a German expressionist film. That was the movement that was going, the artistic movement that was going on that influenced Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which came out in 1919. And so this is a few years after Caligari, and it's a different kind of German expressionism. This isn't, we said on the mini-sode this past Wednesday, it's not all painted on shadows and distorted sets. It's much more in the shadow work and playing with light and dark, and also framing of angles, framing of characters.
More real location, less stage play backdrops.
100%. They are definitely out in the wilds of Germany and Slovakia, and you'll see it really pays off with the production value. So it's actually, this is considered one of the greatest German films of all time. So Fresh, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think you're going to enjoy it. Again, so just also up front, if you're not aware, this is a Dracula adaptation. It's actually an unofficial Dracula adaptation. We'll go unsanctioned. Yeah, we'll go a little more into that a little bit later. But it is a Dracula adaptation. So that is kind of, what we've got in store for everybody tonight. Vampires, and it is Dracula. It is basically Dracula, but all the names and the characters are different. And Sylar, don't worry, we will be talking about when Willem Dafoe donned the Nosferatu makeup in a little movie produced by Nicolas Cage. Stick around. We'll be talking about that movie later. I freaking love that movie. But no, this is OG. This is the original. Dafoe, you're talking. Oh yeah, no, S-Sync, you don't even know. It's Willem Dafoe. I mean, he's got that bone structure that just makes the perfect Nosferatu. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people know, if you say Nosferatu, you have an image in mind. You know the face, so it's very, very recognizable.
I love William Dafoe.
Oh, fresh. William Dafoe. I think
kind of
that's
a request from the audience.
That's his much more affordable second cousin who kind of looks like him, but not really. And William Dafoe definitely gets work in a lot of mockbusters, but it doesn't really, that's not real. But anyway, we so Nosferatu, that's the big only the bone structure. Yeah, that's certainly not the whole. Don't worry, we're getting ready. No. Fresh has this power now, and now he can do this. I do. Sylarn, you've unleashed a monster here.
Is this like the music they play at the Oscars when they're trying to tell you to wrap up your speech?
Yeah, pretty much. Get on with it. Yeah, you can use that as tonight's "Get On With It" music. Anytime you feel like the movie is dragging, Fresh, you can play the San Andreas.
Drop the curtain on them.
Right. Feel free to go for it. But no, so this is going to be a lot of fun, and as always, Evan usually brings us a wonderful cocktail to pair with the evening's film and a little segment which we call...
What were you drinking?
What are we drinking tonight, Evan?
Tonight we are drinking the Closed Coffin. Watch out with these, because I think if you have a couple of these, you'll be in a closed coffin. This is vodka, cinnamon, schnapps, and Jägermeister, all in equal parts, mixed in a shot glass.
Yes, that was amazing.
Everybody say. So I love when we have firsts on this segment. I think it's a lot of fun. We've gone 5 seasons and we haven't had a shot yet. Except for that one time.
That was messy.
Really
that
count.
Was not really.
That was a shot cocktail, a shot tail.
A shot tail for sure. And it was Bela Lugosi's favorite drink apparently, but for us it was very messy. So
Bela Lugosi was just a very messy boy. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean definitely at that point in his career. I'm just certainly he was spilling stuff everywhere, so it wasn't anything new. This is something to celebrate. Our first shot. Good. I like that you're keeping it light.
It's
all right.
It's cinnamon.
Oh gosh,
Strong cinnamon.
Yeah, that cinnamon is strong.
So
we're just
buckle up. We're gonna slingshot ourselves right into this silent film.
Yeah, we certainly are. I was telling Evan and Fresh, I had a heavy dinner, so I'm gonna try to take this easily, but I need to, wish me luck.
All right, well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Everybody!
You know what? That's not bad. It reminds me of like Big Red gum.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not as bad.
This is what it feels
as I
like
thought it was going to be, but it's
Big Red.
A lot of taste.
Yeah, a lot of taste in this one.
Whoo! I can't even tell you the last time I did a shot. So that
honestly, me either.
That
I was thinking about this today. Usually, the only times I've really ever done shots are socially and when I'm already very.
Yeah, usually I don't lead with a shot right out of the gate unless
That's not
I'm
a good strategy, but
not normally. But for a silent movie, I think you gotta you start hot with a little shot.
Start hot with a little shot.
And yeah, it really isn't that bad. It's just that's a.
Are you feeling open with this closed coffin?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, this is far from a closed coffin. This was false advertising because this is opening me up like.
I felt it in my nose, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling it like in my chest. Like it's I'm starting to feel it on my tongue too. Now I'm feeling the Big Red, like that. That burn that you get from the Big Red after you've been chewing it for like a minute or two.
I think Sylarn, you're actually onto something. It kind of is. It's like a spicy iced tea.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't as bad. Like it was easy to get down, but like as soon as it was just like, all right, this is some flavor. There's a lot of flavor here. Yeah. So you're gonna be seeing me over here chugging on my Coca-Cola, and this is not a mixed drink. This is just regular Coca-Cola. I told Evan I need a straight chaser, and I mean, of course, I've got my trusty beer, but I'm
just chase this shot with some beer.
Now,
that's
normally
Van Lugosi's favorite.
Yeah, that's if I'm out at the club. When I do so happen to go out, that's kind of all I have right there. I'm not, hey, can I also just get a Coca-Cola right here? No, like I got my beer in one hand, whatever the shot is. It's not, yeah. Yes, Sweet Pea. Oh, Lord is right. Welcome, Sweet Pea. Yeah, we just did this. So it was a little one though. Don't be fooled by the size of that glass. So yeah, I think that's a perfect way to get into Nosferatu this evening with a little. I mean, so was that what was the cinnamon schnapps? Was it
Yeah, it was cinnamon schnapps.
It was just it wasn't like it wasn't Goldschlager, was it?
No, I didn't have the fancy.
Well, and it's not even that. It's if schnapps in general can be considered German, then I think if you can say that, then I think that we're getting in the spirit of the film by having a little German drink. Jägermeister, is that?
Jägermeister, yeah, created in Germany.
Okay, so we had a very German.
There's the connection.
It all connects.
Circled back around.
No, that's actually I didn't think about it, but that actually is really cool when you can. This is a very German film. Again, to kind of start going into it, this is a Dracula adaptation, but they did not get the rights to the Dracula novel from the author Bram Stoker's widow. They didn't bother to get the rights. They just thought, oh, if we just change the names of the characters, that'll be enough. That's not gonna. We won't need to get permission or anything. It'll be fine. We just have to change some characters, change some details, and
this was the first adaptation of Dracula, right? Like Bela Lugosi Dracula is not for another decade, right?
Exactly. Yeah, not for pretty much a decade. And there was a movie before this called Dracula's Death, but it wasn't really a Dracula adaptation. It more had Dracula as a character, but it's lost. And so for all intents and purposes,
it was kind of a Dracula fan fiction.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was. And kind of there weren't really vampires in film before this. I mean, what you had back then,
they don't show up on film, right?
Well, that's actually
they had to wait until you get the digital.
Just wait till we talk later about that Willem Dafoe movie. That's kind of I'll get into it, but basically the word vampire, you'll see it with movies before tonight's film, but it was always used more to describe like a beautiful young woman who is playing some kind of seductress character, and so she's wearing dark eyeshadow and she's wearing all black and she's a vamp. And that's Twilight. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm getting my vampire lore up.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. So that's Evan actually coincidentally let us know that right now he is reading.
I've been reading Dracula.
Yeah,
I've been reading Dracula for the past little bit.
So Evan is our resident Dracula expert this evening to kind of
half. I'm not done with
to a certain point in the book. He's like GPT. He only goes to a limited time, and it's not the full. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good idea where the story's going, but.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I think you'll definitely notice some stark differences, but we'll be able to kind of compare the lore from this movie to the book, but also to other movies that we've seen, of course. Bela Lugosi's Dracula. We'll be talking about all different kinds of vampire movies. And
all the different kinds of vampires. I think half the fun of vampires is that, like, there's been a million different spins on vampires.
Mhm.
Every, like, iteration of vampire is, like, slightly different in some way.
Right.
And there's a lot of fun stuff that, like, I wasn't really expecting in the Stoker novel. But I mean, as far as the OG vampire lore,
right. Yeah, I mean, this is, and again, like Nosferatu just like left such a huge like cultural footprint, and we'll actually talk about. It's funny, the biggest way that it ended up influencing vampire lore. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so this is really, again, it's basically Dracula, but it was an unofficial, unauthorized adaptation. So you'll see in the intertitles, instead of Dracula, his name is Count Orlock. Instead of Jonathan Harker, it's a guy named Hutter. It's all the same characters and the same actions, just different names.
Just Germanicized,
exactly. And so I mean, again, this is a really artistic film, and I'm excited to show it tonight. I first tried to watch this when I was 7 years old. Obviously, as a 7-year-old, it's kind of hard to sit through, but
this one might go over a 7-year-old's head.
But I got this box set for Christmas, right? And so it had Caligari, Golem, Phantom of the Opera, and of course Nosferatu. And so we've seen Caligari and Golem. We'll eventually get to Phantom, but Nosferatu is what we're watching tonight. And if you'll look in here, you can see that the only disc that is missing is Nosferatu. I don't know where it is, unfortunately.
It's lost media.
It is, yeah. In my collection, it is currently lost. So don't think I'll ever find it again, but that was kind of my introduction to it.
Just in case anybody's got a spare Nosferatu they'd like to send Garrett's way, you can send it to a P.O. Box.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I want the Alpha Video 2002 distributed box set disc of Nosferatu.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody out there who has lost the other 3 discs,
right?
And is just, well, I'm already out 3.
You can just give me that other one and let me have a complete collection.
We'll take it off your hands.
Please let me do that. We're here. Yeah, just shoot us an email, screamstreamshow@gmail.com. We're
send us an email. We can set up a dead drop for you.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll find some way to compensate you. We'll get you some merch. When we get around to making merch, you'll be at the top of our list. Don't worry.
We'll get that slum hat.
Vampire the Masquerade literally ripped all of Nosferatu for their damn game. No, Silarn, I believe this movie is actually based on the game. So I think it's the other way around.
Well, yeah, take that, Silarn. This is a little bit of Fresh Noses video game facts, all right? And
yeah, this is a video game adaptation. It's like The Last of Us.
So there a lot when it first came out, a lot of fans were unhappy with the changes that F.W. Murnau made in his direction of how much he deviated from the narrative of the game. And but that's showbiz. What are you gonna do? Silent.
I think you're full of shit.
Silarn's one of those angry fans. Look out. He's just always looking for a fight.
Everybody watch out for Nick.
Yeah, look out.
Slick Nick.
But yeah, so Fresh has got the video game facts. Evan's got the novel facts. I've got the movie facts. So we've got all your facts covered tonight for Nosferatu. We're the facts guys. Not facts with an X.
What is the baud rate supposed to be set at? Mine's not working correctly.
The what?
The baud rate.
I don't even know what that means.
It says setting. I need to sit on this fax machine. It's not letting me.
See, she goes.
BAUD baud rate.
See, I've never even used a fax machine before. I love Fresh over here, like
some nice fax machine humor.
Fresh is gonna
every time.
Fresh is gonna set up our fax machine for the show, so that he can keep making fax machine jokes.
Getting faxes in the background.
Please do that, please.
The fax machine is ringing off the hook.
We've got all these fax coming in.
Thanks for all the faxes, guys.
Please. We got to get that set up. It's like I'm stricken with a sudden bout of tinnitus. All of a sudden, I had a sharp ringing in my ear.
Are you getting Havana syndrome?
It's either that or we're going to fall under some Nosferatu curse after watching tonight's movie, which is maybe more of a physical curse, whereas Caligari curse is more limited to the stream.
More of a technological curse.
Maybe Nosferatu curse is like like he's coming to get you if you watch this. Okay, again, the physical look of Nosferatu scared the shit out.
We're getting some faxes coming in.
The facts are coming in hot right now.
Guys, I think we're being hacked.
Yes, no, I know. We're terrible millennials, never used a fax machine in our lives. You read the facts.
You can't handle the facts.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, again, Nosferatu is just a scary looking guy anyway, and maybe not as scary if you first saw this face on SpongeBob as the hash slinging slasher,
or maybe more scary. Maybe
that did scare you.
Maybe that episode scared you a little.
It might have. I mean, it's a look. It's a terrifying look. Like
you know, it's crazy though. That wasn't makeup. That guy just looks like that.
Bro, don't jump the lead, Evan. I'll get into that later, all right? You're spoiling all my facts here.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump ahead.
Spoiling all your what?
Hold on. Facts? Terrific. That's great. Every time now. I expect you to be hot on that button, Fresh. The facts button. Oh man, we're gonna have fun with this. This is gonna be great. So I think we're about ready to get into anything. Before we get into it tonight, boys, anything, any expectation? Evan, you've seen this before.
Yeah, that's true. This is the first movie on this stream that I've actually seen before.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen any? Wow. Okay. I mean, I know they're old as shit movies.
Yeah, no, Garrett, nobody but you has ever seen these movies.
I know, yeah. I mean...
Wow, really? You've never seen... No, Garrett, we've never seen any of these.
What? Yeah, that's my reaction every time. It's like, no, we weren't 7 years old watching Scared to Death, all right? You're weird. Get out of here. I'm glad we already got that one out of the way. I'm just so happy. Oh, this is great. But yes, so yeah, we'll see. This is gonna be my first time watching it all the way through. Because when I tried watching it as a kid, I could never finish it. So, and Fresh obviously has seen this many times. So he's
Yeah, I watch silent movies a lot on my own time, of course.
He loves them. They're his favorite thing. All right. Well, Fresh, if you have it queued up,
I do.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of Nosferatu Symphony of Horror right now.
I'm not clicking it. I'm not watching this shit.
I do not comply.
I do not.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
So that guy, Albin Grau, also produced the movie, pretty much had the idea and got everybody on board, including the director, F.W. Murnau, who's like a very famous director from this time period. I'll talk more about him at our first break.
Grau means gray. Thank you, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at that.
Fucking organ.
Yeah, I think this is the reconstructed score, I believe. And we're listening to it here, you know, fair use. I claim fair use because I'm telling you about it. It was one of the first full scores for a horror movie, ever, you know, composed originally for that movie, not just a collection of existing classical pieces, which was kind of like, if you had an organist, you just had like different cues for them to play of different classical pieces, but this had an original score, so pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Fiscal curse. I don't know, I like that.
First, you're bad with money.
You're terrible. So you see, this takes place in a specific year in like a town in Germany. That's another. They moved locations, obviously. The death bird. It's a death bird. That's what I'm dealing with right now, guys. A lot of death birds. Eyes on the skies, everybody.
Does so when this hawk in your yard swoops down, does it whisper Nosferatu into your ear?
It's just that other form that he's taken, Hawk. That's how Nosferatu. It's just like in What We Do in the Shadows. He just Hawk, and then he changes into a hawk. Cylorn hates when I talk about the birds.
I think Cylorn's behind the birds.
I think Cylorn is for the birds. That's what I think.
Damn, savage.
Told you, Cylorn. So this is that's obviously not a set. This is a set.
Hey Garrett. Did you happen to trim some of the beginning off of this video when you
Did you start from 0000?
Yep.
I think the link
was there a note?
I think the link was supposed to start at a certain point.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 34 seconds. All right, hang on. I can calculate this.
Okay, you got it.
Do a little math. Math on the go.
You can do it. I believe in you. No, start it back.
Restart.
So these are obviously our Jonathan and Mina Harker characters, if you're familiar with Dracula.
Stop the whole thing. I just saw it. Pause. Stop the whole thing.
Pause the stream. Pause the stream.
This guy is unbelievably happy.
So again, if we'll think about the other German expressionist silent movies we've seen so far, that's part of the expressionist style is overacting.
They're doing, it's their expression.
Mm-hmm.
They're expressing the fuck out of their emotions.
They are. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Come on. Oh yeah. Why'd you do it? Schönblumen.
Meet Mina, the killjoy.
Hey, Schönblumen. What a romantic language. They say die in every other sentence. It's real romantic.
yeah, real nice. Germany.
No offense to our viewers in Germany. We love you. I love you.
No one outruns his destiny.
Theme stated.
And then he just laughs it off and walks away.
Haha, good one.
You ever like someone says something to you, maybe like an old man
No,
approaches
Tagalog
you.
is not a romance language, Cylon. It absolutely is not a romance language.
See, I love this. Like, this has always cracked me up. What is on this paper?
Third grade sketches.
Some really talented third graders. Nudes. Nudes.
You can see it, Sal. You can see that it's not nudes.
they're subliminal.
It's implied.
Implied nudes. So this is the Renfield character.
Okay.
And he's called Knock, which I was trying to figure out when I was seeing in synopsises of this movie, like, who the fuck is Knock? And then it's the Renfield character. And I don't know what it is about this and Caligari with the high stools, but if you remember with Caligari, like the police officers sat on very high chairs, so it seems to be
There's just a lot of tall chairs back then.
I guess it was a style. There's bro, let's try to keep our personal space.
So in the book, Renfield is just like this crazy guy in a madhouse.
Right.
It doesn't work at the place with Jonathan.
Right.
So like, he's got this like crazy realtor.
Right, pretty much.
Like, who hired this guy?
Well, again, it's, you think about, if you've seen the Bela Lugosi Dracula, the main character for the first like 15, 20 minutes is Renfield visiting Dracula's castle to do the real estate deal for Carfax Abbey. So, like, there's something about him being involved in the real estate. I don't know if that's part of the book, but
there's just an inclination among filmmakers to just conflate the two characters.
Oh, is that another fax I hear?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trigger it.
So, that's why I let a bird in here.
I couldn't tell if it was fax or a fire alarm. Oh, we've got our fire drill. We've got a.
Whoa.
We gotta evacuate. We gotta go stand in the parking lot. We're gonna make so much money.
Don't you love when somebody just like incessantly like just is like, knee slapping?
They both look so happy as he's saying this.
I don't. Oh, her wig almost came off.
This dude's in a hurry. He's on.
I have to leave right
away. He's on
away.
that hustle grind set.
Yeah, it is kind of cool how you could see the place where the vampire will move. You could see it in the windows in the back room, like the castle. So that's kind of like one of the hallmarks of this movie is the photography, the deep focus photography. The fact that like they're trying to show you things very far away and they're like making connections. Because, of course, if you know anything about Dracula, once Dracula moves into town, Mina Harker she's on his list. You gotta love all the irising.
So Hitler placed the English girl.
Hey, I can forgive you if you mistake Hutter for Hitler. You can make the substitution if that helps you remember it. Are you sure, S-Sync? Have you tried it yet? Have you made sure it's not a look? No, I mean, you either go curls or you like those girls with, you know.
Girls with the curls.
Girls with the curls. Curls and bonnet. The Mary Todd Lincoln look. The Mary Todd Lincoln special. That was the discount look at the beauty salons of the day. That's this. This takes place in this takes place in 1835, and that was many years before Mrs. Lincoln was well known to the world stage.
Least of all, her hair.
Yeah, very dour looking. Mary Todd.
And young Hitler traveled.
I'll have the Mary Todd, please. Sounds like something Tobias would say in Arrested Development. No, that's a set. No, I'm just kidding. That's real.
This is a really big set.
She didn't want those girls. She was pressured into it by Abe. So, Evan, when you watched this before, did you see this tinted or just in full black and white?
You know, it's actually been a while since I've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was tinted.
Good. Again, tinting. The tinting is telling you things here. You know, if you've got yellow, that's implying that you're in a lit area, you're inside, or if you're outside and it's yellow, it's daytime. But if you get a blue, obviously you're in a dark area or it's nighttime. So it's
hot and cold.
Hot and cold. That's the tinting is more. Oh, he wants yeah.
Quickly, something to eat.
Here we go.
Count Orlock.
It's so funny.
What did he just say?
Orlock.
Did he say what I think he said?
You want to go to Castle Orlock? Why does this guy look exactly like always the innkeeper who's like, no, don't go.
You mustn't go
This is like
Castle Orlock.
It's so funny. Like, this trope is just even today in horror movies. Somebody's traveling to somewhere dangerous. They stop in somewhere.
Yeah,
Somebody gives them a warning.
Nowadays, it's the fucking gas station attendant.
It's the gas station of doom, which we've seen many times on the show. But this is obviously a trope that goes back to literature. Run, horses. It's Nope. That's where Jordan Peele got it from.
Is that a hyena?
Yeah, it's a hyena, but I think it's supposed to be a werewolf.
Oh, high beds too.
Oh,
they turn the light on.
That was cool. Yeah, that was tinting like in the moment. I liked that.
Yeah, the beds are. Is it a rats thing? You think?
What?
Raising the beds like
the
this?
high beds,
bro.
High chairs.
Evan, you're right. That's kind of the big thing that this movie does is it's really heavy on rats and the plague. Because that's this 1835 in Bremen, Germany, there was a plague. And so that's what this is saying, that Nosferatu brought all these rats, and that was the reason for the plague.
Yeah.
So that's their kind of news story.
Not what they said.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the book, like, there's always like Dracula's got like kind of like an affinity for dominion.
Right. He can he can shapeshift, right?
He can shapeshift. But I mean, it's kind of implied that like the wolves in the forest, like he kind of controls the wolves.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he just controls that one. Vampires. And with the Y, I feel like you have to say it. Deadly. Deadly? Belial. Belial seed sprang the vampire Nosferatu.
Who doth live and feed on the blood of mankind.
I love they get they try to get so much
beyond a.
They try to get so much mileage out of these book excerpts in this movie. Like, they have a lot. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you.
Yeah, it's just a long, like, still on this piece of paper. Well, I'm pretty worn out from reading that.
But again, there's a reason that I like the German intertitles versus, like, the American version, the English version of those titles. They, you know, they look cool.
Looks pretty dumb, dude.
Ah,
we don't see a lot of pink.
No, I was gonna say it must be Dawn. Dawn.
Oh yeah, the shade between blue and yellow, pink.
Ah, the mountain air and the smell of horse shit.
It just looks like so much smog back there.
See, that's the thing, you know. Mountain,
it's like LA smog.
Mountain mist. It would be terrible if it was smog. you can't see it, but just off camera, there's this giant factory.
Big DuPont factory dumping shit into the river right there.
If this was about 20 years later, you could make a really off-color joke about what that smoke is, but I won't even. I won't say.
All right,
anything.
thank you for not making that.
You're welcome.
Dude, I wish we still had the wash basin in the bathroom.
You want to just...
Are you sure?
You want to take a splash bath?
Yeah, it'd be quick.
It would be quick.
I smell great.
This counts. That was a bath.
Here's my thing. All right, don't judge.
Done.
If everybody stinks, nobody stinks. This is all subjective.
I mean,
if everything smells like shit, then what does it matter?
You're onto something there. You start a revolution. Nobody wants to be the first person to stink, though. Problem.
This is true. You got to get the ball rolling with at least a couple thousand people.
Yeah, it was just easier back then.
Yeah, look how easy this is. This is how you go get groceries.
Gotta saddle up the horse.
Yeah, so easy.
So, Fresh, I think I'm gonna need your help with the break.
Okay. Yeah, we're pretty far off.
Okay, good. Good.
Guten.
God, I don't like seeing that bridge shake like that.
All bridges shook back then.
That was the style.
Yeah, they had to make the bridges shaky so you knew they were really doing something.
Right. Well, it shakes because of all of the earthquakes in Germany.
We're not going any further.
Nick weiter.
We're not going Nick weiter. That means any further.
Translator Fresh over here.
You guys are welcome. I'll be here all night. It's frightening beyond the pass. Nick Gunter is beyond the pass.
Translator's note.
Damn, imagine you pay someone to give you a ride and they just drop you off where the fuck ever.
you get an Uber and they pull over and just say, "I'm not going any further."
Yeah,
it's frightening.
Kind of expensive.
Sorry, bro,
it's
into
really
the
scary
road.
Down that road.
Not going down that road.
is told of him. What does seize mean to take and also to like shake uncontrollably?
Oh, that's a very good point.
See?
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice observation.
Astute observation, right? That's what this is the real question about the movie, I think. Oh.
You gotta love the way that they shot.
It's going really fast.
This is always the thing too, is this way in the book, Evan? Is the coachman also Dracula?
No, it's a different person.
Because that is in all the movies, that's the thing. The coachman is also the vampire. Like,
he takes you there and then he walks to the back for 2 seconds and comes back out. It is me.
I'm just a simple coachman.
At least I think.
Look at this. This is a negative exposure thing that they're doing here. Definitely a wild effect. And I think they're over cranking the camera as well. I think that's why.
You gotta crank it faster.
I think you over crank to get it to go like super fast, and you under crank to get it to go slow.
Wait, wouldn't over cranking make it go slow?
You're probably right. I really don't. Oh, no.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. It's like,
I think you're
crank it more
no,
for
Fresh. I
speed?
think you're right. No, I think you're right. I think you're definitely right. That sound it sounds like an opposite. It should be an opposite thing.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck?
There he is, and himself.
And again, this is a different German expressionism. The way that they're like this is a real castle, and they're using the archways and all this, and where Orlock stands to kind of make a weird shot. He comes out of the shadows, right? It's
effective. It makes it, more scary.
I mean, again, look at all these layers that we have here. Like, that's really there's a lot of composition going on. You got the biggest nose I've ever seen.
The servants are sleeping. And I have a lot of keys.
The servants are sleeping, but I'm a bit of a night owl. I'll show you around. I don't mind. I'm not going to wake them up.
Follow me down here.
See, maybe I should have... I mean, we're probably still far from the break, but...
Yeah, you are.
Okay, good.
I love it, dude.
This is definitely German expressionists here. This is where they're with anything that's shot on the soundstage here with the Nosferatu, the Orlock stuff. They're trying to get a little bit more.
What does he have? Like, what is he eating?
Bread.
Oh, bread. Okay.
Sweet feet. No, not quite. No. Not quite.
I've done that so many times.
You gotta cut away from you.
Nosferatu's gonna be like, you have to cut away.
Precious blood. He looks like Smeagol.
That tall chair, dude, it looks so ridiculous. This is Pee-wee's Playhouse shit.
It's like, I don't know why all these people, like, it just can't give me my personal space. Like, I've got, like, imagine that there's a bubble around me. Like, the deepest of sleeps.
I sleep really good. You know what I'm saying?
You would be jealous of how good I sleep at night. How do I sleep at night? Just fine, thanks. This is
slept in that chair.
We've all been there, man.
Yeah, that's a rough night.
Didn't even give him a blanket.
Didn't even light a fire for him.
Not a very gracious host.
No.
Yeah, man, just crash out like wherever. And then he went to his room.
Yeah, we've all been there before.
Yeah, that's very... Oh, Nosferatu, you're so college.
One of the boys.
Count Orlock.
Oh, dude, you didn't get a blanket? You could have asked me for a blanket, dude.
Man, you slept on the chair? Why'd you do that?
You could have said something. Just checking. Dang.
Got a whole spread.
Yeah, one of those things looked like, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what it was. It almost looked like it had a lobster. It almost looked like a lobster, but...
Yeah, some lobster for breakfast.
Chicken. No, look, he's got a rotisserie there.
Oh. Got a little, what are they called?
Yeah, Cornish game hen, yeah. Fancy, Dracula over here eating Cornish game hen. Guess he can afford it. I mean, again, the framing, man. There's all these archways and these, it's definitely a motif in this film.
Yeah. I mean, the castle. Yeah, anytime there's a castle involved, it's, such a character in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. And again, they're shooting on real castles here. This is, I don't know if I got down exactly where they shot this at, but, yeah, I mean, Slovakia doubled for Transylvania, but with these castles, I'm not quite sure. I think they might have been in Slovakia.
Did you know that Slovakia is a real place?
Oh, he's like that guy in the cartoon we watched tonight. He's plagued by mosquitoes.
One quite near the other on each side, almost like fangs. Haha, probably a mosquito.
Can you believe I got bit by 2 mosquitoes?
Yeah, these Transylvanian skeeters, man, they pack real punch. Don't want to be carrying the malaria.
The malaria.
Whoa, what is this guy like? Does he even have on shoes?
Yeah, who is this guy?
He looks like he's wearing bedclothes or something.
Everybody else is terrified to get near this place, and this guy's just like...
This guy's riding around like
through the backyard.
Damn near Lady Godiva. All right, I think that took us to the first break, right, Fresh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We got right at the whatever the red thing was. So
okay.
That's my approximation of where we're at. But that was the roughly first act of Nosferatu. Wait, do we have a fax coming in? Is that a fax? Oh, okay. Fresh has gone down in the tunnel. He's got to go check and make sure that the miners are at work still. Late hours.
Yeah, we don't hire anybody at PhD, so all the miners have to be doing their job.
Right.
Is this one of those online echo chambers I keep hearing about?
Well,
yes, what do you believe?
Well, Evan just joined the biggest online echo chamber, so you're just,
That's right, I'm on Twitter now.
You're on Twitter now, so, I mean, it's, can't escape.
Those offensive tweets you made as soon as you joined kind of...
I thought...
really soured.
There's no such thing as bad publicity. I figure if I get canceled right out the gate, then when I come back, there'll still be some eyes on me.
Right.
That's a good point. Did you have to speed run it though?
Just right out of the gate, you gotta come out hot. And
I figured it was either gonna be that or I was gonna get banned for insulting.
Yeah, that's not too hard, right? I have muted him. I don't want to see anymore.
I don't want to hear anymore from him.
I don't want to see, and they still show me everyone whatever today or yesterday. Like, you can do this now. Like, all right, great, thanks. Maybe I need to know that, but like, I want to hear from you, dude. I don't give a fuck. I don't like you. There, I said it. So all you Elon Musk fans want to at me, go ahead.
From Twitter.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to get banned. I've already been taken off Facebook, so might as well go ahead and add Twitter to the list. Okay, but anyway, I digress. That was the first third of Nosferatu. What do we think so far?
I love Nosferatu, Count Orlock. He's so creepy.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you gotta love the hat and
the hat. Maybe makes him a little less creepy, but I guess it's maybe to cover up just how like weird he looks underneath the hat.
Yeah, they build it. They give it a little bit of a slow burn. They try to make him look a little normal in the beginning, and then as it goes on, he's a monster.
Yeah.
So.
So weird. He's just such a weird take on.
Yeah. See, S-Sync, I saw the pictures of the Orlock character.
Oh.
But I didn't see the movie. I heard mixed things. Obviously,
I saw maybe the first 10.
And then you were like, "I'm out."
I mean, coincidentally, I had to leave anyway, but I didn't mind walking out.
You weren't upset about it. I mean, again, like, it's a testament to the Orlock imagery, the Orlock character. It's kind of, again, it's partly because it's public domain. It just kind of keeps getting you. You couldn't finish it. Yeah, I mean, again, I heard some people who loved it, and I heard some people who were like, not for me. So I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to Orlock. The door locked. Oh, yeah, I like that, Fresh. Yeah, that sounds like a Sweet Feet line for sure. Orlock, keep door locked. Yeah, I like that. That's good. It's got a nice rhythm to it. Funny enough, speaking of rhythm, the director of tonight's movie, F.W. Murnau, he directed this movie using a metronome to keep pace
during
the scenes with actors to help the actors get it.
So on the set, he was like, okay, lights, camera, metronome, and action.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or whatever that is in German.
Pretty much.
Think over the fucking metronome.
Yeah, how crazy is that? I mean, again, like,
I can't concentrate with the fucking metronome in the corner.
Orlock, you're off beat again. Okay, everybody from the top. And
back
one,
to your
and
ones.
two.
I mean, again, and like it's funny, those details we'll really get into later. But to just kind of go on about Murnau really quick, I mean, that sounds kind of almost like a taskmaster type of like that sounds like kind of a strict thing almost, right? To be like, all right, we've got to keep time to this thing, and I need you to. But apparently, he was a very sensitive director, a very definitely not like a kind of one of those crazy directors, and
not that crazy.
No, definitely not crazy. And Fresh is just in the chat dropping bars right now, just left and right, as he's wont to do from time to time. But yeah, I mean, F.W. Murnau went on to move to Hollywood like 4 years after this was made, and had a really great career. The first movie he did in Hollywood was a movie called Sunrise, which won a bunch of Oscars at the first Academy Awards, which it's Oscar weekend this weekend. Yeah. Whether you're watching the Oscars themselves or the On Cinema Oscars special, it's sure to be a magical night for everybody. It's Oscar night. So yeah, I mean, so at the very first Academy Awards, F.W. Murnau's first Hollywood movie won pretty big, and he was really acclaimed. He made a couple other movies, and then did a movie called Taboo, which was he paired up with a guy who was kind of a documentary director, except he wasn't really making documentaries. He was telling the actors what to do, and then saying that it was a documentary. But F.W. Murnau teamed up with this guy to film a movie in, I think, French Polynesia, and like an island, and to film like an island story. And that was F.W. Murnau's last movie. And he ended up dying in a car accident shortly after that. And yeah, he had a short career. I'll kind of talk a little more about that after the break. But for the break, we're going to see the trailers for Sunrise and Taboo. And it's kind of wild that that these two movies had trailers. I was like pretty surprised. Because it's hard to find, they're both silent movies, even though Taboo was made in 1931. F.W. Murnau kind of preferred the silent medium to the sound medium, like a lot of directors. And so they're both silent movies, but these trailers have sound, so don't worry. They got some music. But you can see Murnau's artistry in these trailers. Like, he did some wild shit, and you'll see in these trailers, and they use his name in the trailers. Like, he's a very early example of a director being promoted to say, it's a movie by this guy.
Look at this hit director.
Look at this director. He's doing this now. You're going to want to see it. I mean, he really was a rising star when he moved to Hollywood, and unfortunately his career was cut short. But we'll talk about it after the break. We're going to see these two trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of Nosferatu. So stick around. We'll be right back. And we are back. So those were 2 F.W. Murnau trailers, Sunrise and Taboo. And again, F.W. Murnau, his career was cut short. Unfortunately, he was in a car accident. I believe it was on the Pacific Coast Highway. There ended up being a lot of rumors and kind of scandal around his death because, I mean, it was really just rumors. And it kind of got spread later on in like Hollywood gossip books. But essentially,
gossip, there's foul play.
Yeah, well, so he was a closeted homosexual, and again, that was like there were other directors, like the director of Frankenstein, who was as open as you could be back in Hollywood in that day. But like F.W. Murnau was big. He was like again, you saw that Taboo trailer. 1,000 critics have named F.W. Murnau a great director. So but the story that ended up coming out was that he was traveling somewhere and he rented this car and he had a chauffeur, but he was also accompanied by a 14-year-old boy who was driving the car, and he swerved to avoid a truck and hit an embankment, and they were all cleared from the car, and F.W. Murnau fractured his skull and died. And the other 2 guys lived, but then there had been up all this stuff about that he was sexually involved with the boy. And
there was a 14-year-old driving a car?
Yeah. Yeah, and so there's all this salacious stuff about him being involved with the 14-year-old. And so it kind of was one of those things that I don't know how much was verified, but it ended up being kind of this Hollywood gossip that I don't think it tarnished his career. I mean, he's still an acclaimed director to this day, but certainly people have kind of used that as a punchline about Murnau, and it's kind of sad. But again, there is a whole restoration foundation in his name that is dedicated to restoring all these silent films, including Murnau's own films, but and they are responsible for tonight's restoration. And so, I mean, his legacy has really like lived on in a good way, but his death was certainly at the time really controversial. And it's, it is one of those Hollywood stories, Hollywood back in the day. I saw that movie Babylon this past week. Oh boy, you want to talk about the modern day interpretation of Hollywood's craziness. It's certainly something. If you haven't seen it, maybe worth checking out. If you're a big movie nerd like I am, you'll enjoy it regardless, but it's a mess of a movie. I said it. It didn't get nominated for any awards this year. That's like how you know it's a mess. And that's the La La Land people. So it's kind of a disappointment. Again, Oscars this weekend, Sunday, bringing it back around.
Yeah, maybe next time, Walt.
Yeah, good luck. You tried your Neil Armstrong movie. That didn't really work very well. You pivot to old Hollywood, really tries to please the Academy voting crowd. That didn't really work either.
Next year, La La Land 2.
Look out for it. Or maybe he'll he kind of, Damien Chazelle, the writer and director of those movies, also wrote some horror scripts or sci-fi. He's before he did he's doing these big lavish things, so maybe he should just pivot back and maybe get nominated for that. The Academy needs to recognize horror. You heard me say it here. That's goes without saying.
But you just said it.
But I said it.
So it needs to be said.
It needs to be said.
Look, this goes without saying, but
I'm gonna say it. You heard it. No, so we're about to get into the exciting middle of Nosferatu. I think, Evan, have you prepared the next coffins?
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah, I've totally done that.
I think we're totally, Brad. Totally. If you didn't know, Evan moonlights as a mortician, and no, if you haven't, we can hold off on that. I didn't know. I thought I saw you
fiddling around
over there. No pressure. I'm down to wait on that.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Let's not wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
got all night.
We can kill time. Fresh has got tons of jokes. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's do it. Anybody got type 5?
Yeah, so like, why do you park in a driveway and drive in a parkway?
Stop! Don't do that. All right. No, I hadn't heard that one a million times recently. All right. Well, I think Fresh, if you've got it queued up,
I do.
All right, then we're gonna go ahead and get. Unless you wanted me to wait, Evan.
No.
Okay. Then we're gonna get into the exciting middle of Nosferatu right now. Blast off. We just got out of break. How's this dragging? I don't understand. I actually do like seeing Nosferatu move to that.
This paperwork. It looks like one of the documents was a like a crayon drawing of what I assume is the properties buying.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, like, back in the day, you know, you didn't have, like, probably didn't photograph every property.
No, I don't think so.
So
it looks like this.
If you move to a new town, it's like, describe the building to me.
I shall buy the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna be your neighbor. On second thought, you know what?
Actually, I've got another property I'd like you to look at. I think you'll really like it. It's a really nice part of town. The rent is really cheap. Like there's anywhere like that nowadays. Cheap. Get out of town.
It's crashing. You just wait.
Doth clutch his victim, and doth suck like hellish life potion its blood. That was a hell of a sentence right there.
Yeah, she.
Take heed that his shadow not encumber thee. Like an incubus with gruesome dreams. Okay, Vincent Price.
Somebody wrote this like angry takedown of their local account.
I just think these taxes are getting ridiculous.
Well, I didn't vote for it. Oh.
Look, this is full on vampire now.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Peter.
So, correction from earlier. I was telling Garrett over the break. I had the carriage thing wrong. That was.
Evan, how could you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought there was like a second vampire in the mix, or like, see, in the book, like, he doesn't have any servants, so he's doing all of the like chores himself. But there are some other people like around, like there's some Romani characters kind of around the castle.
Yeah, I think he's talked about servants, but we haven't really seen them. God, look at the lighting
so
here,
fucking...
everything.
Did I just make the doorways small or what?
Yeah, that was definitely a set. I just like the beams of light that were coming in behind them. They were wild.
It's buck wild.
Getting buck wilder.
Did you see that pipe?
Yeah.
No, I missed it. I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure we'll see it again. Oh, okay.
My
Wow.
Floor pipe.
This is my opium
This is
pipe.
my bubbler, dude.
My opium bubbler. This is the hot new dance move. Learned from Michael Jackson.
What, dangling off the balcony?
It's a combination of that and Thriller, yeah. You bring in early Michael and later period Michael and merging them together.
A doctor, a doctor.
Einen Arzt.
I mean, obviously, this is one of the iconic shots of the movie. And the shadow work, impeccable.
Yeah, this guy's pretty ahead of his time with the cinematography.
Yeah. I mean, again, what Murnau is doing with composition, what he's doing with kind of what's considered German Expressionism at this time with light and shadow, all that. I mean, he is showing that he is well aware. He's a master.
You know, I was thinking today, what's actually kind of funny about this movie is, so, you know, this is an adaptation of Dracula, but the things that people most remember from this film are, you know, not really that, you know, related to the book.
Right.
The you know, photography, the, you know, Count Orlock is, you know, clearly a very different take on the vampire, on Dracula.
Right.
But, you know, it makes them just all, you know, more memorable because it's just so different.
Right. I mean, they, again, like, it's, I can see why they maybe thought they'd get away with, well, this is a loose adaptation, so we shouldn't have to worry about copyright. Because they are, like, I mean, again, you're only following kind of Bram Stoker's outline. All the details, all the imagery, you're kind of filling in on your own. At least, you know, these guys were. Again, very German, right? Like, wouldn't you say maybe that's where kind of maybe the differences, like maybe that's what's motivating some of the differences here?
Could be. I've been trying to, like, it's almost, well, you know, before I say this, where's Bram Stoker from?
Pretty sure England, or maybe like Ireland or Scott, you know, that general area. I don't.
The UK.
The UK. Thank you, Fresh.
Okay. So part of me, as I'm like reading Dracula, isn't just wondering if like the character of Dracula is supposed to be scary because he's like characterized as looking kind of foreign.
Yeah, that's actually the big criticism about the novel. I think especially now today is, did Bram Stoker have kind of an anti-immigrant thing going on?
Yeah, I mean, whereas this, like, this guy, I mean, I don't know what the Germans, you know, back then were afraid of, but I don't look at this and think, look at this immigrant.
Right. Everything here is supposed to look weird. It's not, yeah, they're not like, which again, Lugosi's Dracula, unfortunately, is very much, hey, look at this weird looking foreigner. Yeah. Like, that's, you know, essentially like, that's why Lugosi was supposed to be terrifying. And it's really just Lugosi, you know? I mean, they embodied the metaphor well, unfortunately.
He looks so monstrous. Like, he looks like a...
Yeah, again,
corpse.
Orlock is a monster for sure. Like,
the teeth, is just what gets me. Like, his face looks like a bat, but his teeth look like a rat.
Again, that rat imagery, man, it really is strong. They are.
Orlock is a monster. Hey,
baby, monster baby. You dirty rat. Yeah, there's, I mean, that's definitely Nosferatu, Count Orlock.
Oh my god.
I know, I can't, I shouldn't
strong.
laugh because I know it's
Look at these special effects.
fresh. You're 100% right earlier. They're under cranking to get this sped up effect.
Yeah, less frames.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you see that?
Beep, beep, beep.
So wait a second. If he can just like telekinesis the lid up, why didn't he just lift the coffins onto the thing? Telekinesis.
Hey, it's very draining, okay?
He did, he just floated it up. I've decided to become a sheet ghost. I just can't. What is he, the prince from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Lancelot, I'm coming!
Oh, I'm so tired.
Ah, my hip!
Fuck!
It's a silent movie, but you're still allowed one fuck.
What kind of unholy cargo they were conveying through the Dale?
Dale!
Orlock's
Shout out to
taking-
Dale.
The
Orlock's taking the raft down the river.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't remember this part. Is that real? That almost looks fake. Is that real?
I think it's real.
That is wild looking.
I mean,
Murnau, man.
Wow.
Shout out to Dale. Shout out Murnau. Shout out the third act. I don't know either, Sweet Feet. I'm not sure.
I don't have confidence they would have been able to fake that.
I mean, it almost seems like it would just be easier to just make a raft.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you see, our breaks do not correspond with the act breaks, unfortunately. It's just, we need more time.
Planning on the showrunner's part, honestly.
More time, damn it. Yeah. Well, you know what? All your criticisms, you can address to me as screamstreamshow@gmail.com. Drew and I love that. I love these old. So Bullware is our Van Helsing character.
Told me the following.
Were they closed coffins, perhaps?
Oh. Hey. Oh.
Oh, right, the closed coffin. I was supposed to be doing something.
No, take your time. I'm in no rush.
That's how Garrett subtly orders a drink at the bar.
when the bartender
mentions the name of the drink.
Well, sometimes the bartender kind of zones out.
It's like, yeah, that
Too busy watching the TV.
Organic segue. They're like, oh, that drink. Yeah, I forgot about that. And Pusa.
Oh my god, you see that touchdown? Yeah, are the Pilsners winning? I've been waiting for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, the Dakota Pilsners. Love them. South Dakota Pilsners.
So, speaking of vampire lore, this is something that, I think we've kind of lost over the years. The, filling the coffin full of dirt.
Are they doing that here? That's just dirt.
There's something about, you've got to take, dirt from your homeland.
They do it now, usually, where they just have, a little vial of it.
Yeah, they cheat.
They cheat.
Now.
They cheat on it, for sure.
Oh, there's the rats.
Rats!
Oh, rats.
Is there a rat thing in the book?
I don't think so.
Because, again, they are doing the rat thing here to make a comment on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta bash them. That's rat bashing.
It's more bats and wolves in the book.
Well, I mean, it's funny that again here they're actually using this
unless they drop the rats in the third act.
They're using this to talk about a real plague here, but even in the 31 or the 1930 Lugosi movie, Renfield is obsessed with rats. There's a whole rats, thousands of them, millions of them.
I mean, I guess he does the Renfield, like he does the old lady who swallowed a fly kind of thing. Like he collects the flies and then he gets the spiders to catch, or he feeds the flies to the spiders and he feeds the spiders to maybe cats. I don't know. Something about a cat in there somewhere.
No, that makes sense. Got to rhyme. Got to have that rhyme.
See, this is how you know they're on Venus.
Got that fly trap. Like a vampire, perhaps?
I mean, in that it eats things. Like,
Yeah,
you're
nothing
closer
else
to a
eats
vampire
things.
than that plant, bruh.
Well, you saw earlier Nosferatu ate the other guy, right? Just whole.
Yeah, just, you know.
He unhinged his jaw and swallowed
It's like
the
a
other
snake.
guy.
He's not like a rat. He's like a snake. He has the rats to eat. Yeah, it's so funny, like, this as a, you know, Dracula adaptation. And you have to remind yourself, okay, Knock is Renfield. Here's Renfield in the asylum, finally. Here we are. I remember this.
Is it the penguin?
Danny DeVito.
Well, they were,
He
well,
got
you
his
know,
big break in Nosferatu.
we couldn't tell that it was Charlie Day in that long shot earlier bashing the rats, but you know, we should have known that Danny DeVito was going to pop up soon after. He does look like Danny DeVito's penguin for sure. I'll take you both on.
Well, I'll drink to that.
Oh shit. All right. Cheers.
And this one here. A polyp with tentacles. Interesting.
Science.
Bleh.
We're doing science over here.
Science. That is kind of cool, though. I mean, is that like?
I don't.
That's a practical effect, or?
No microorganisms were harmed in the making of this film.
Spinning.
Spiders.
You kind of love the German word for spider. Spinning.
Spinning.
Like, what are they doing? Spinning.
Spinning that web.
Spinning web, baby.
They're spinning webbing. I don't know what the German word. Haven't got that far.
It's probably webbing, yeah.
It's got to be webbing.
Die webbing.
Die webbing. Die webbing. Remember that W is a V.
Yeah.
Yearning for her beloved.
I yearn for you. Oh my god. That's the scariest beach I've ever seen.
Yo, oh my god, what the hell is this? Is this the end of Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, I'd like one Uber to Nightmare Beach, please.
Dude,
who's winning?
Croquet, dude.
Croquet. The fuck is this guy doing? Is he jerking it back there behind the bush? What the hell?
And when he walks up, he's like, "Oh, I'm just cleaning this thing."
So that's nothing. That's not that. Pay no attention to that.
I love how the score just turned into a really long drone.
It's really ahead of its time.
I'll tell you, Fresh, you're actually I cut together 2 different versions for me and Evan with the original score on it. You're watching the one with the weird score on it.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So like ever since Act 1 ended, the whole
it got really bad all of a sudden.
It sounds like I paused on like Goldeneye. It's just like wah, with like ding ding.
Yeah, the one we're listening to is like orchestral, classical.
Yeah,
but
Fresh.
But it doesn't have the subtitles. That's why I had to combine this one with subtitles with the one that didn't have subtitles. I'm sorry, Fresh.
Look at that bench. That is the most flimsy looking bench I've ever seen.
Hey, we built this out of pallets.
We built this out of driftwood. We found here on the beach.
My dearest.
Grieve not that thy loved is so far away.
I am plagued by the mosquitoes. I have 2 bites on my throat.
Going crazy.
Just Arnold Schwarzenegger just going.
Just turns into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Let's remake Dracula and cast Arnold Schwarzenegger as the meek and timid Jonathan.
Again, do not forget that in the 90s, Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, Jonathan Harker is played by Keanu Reeves. Please don't forget.
I do always forget that. I don't know why.
Good evening. How do you do? It's just, and Winona Ryder isn't much better either. Like, oh, hark. It's just, Francis Ford Coppola. Just.
By the shortest route home. He's going to go by the shortest route home.
I'll take the bullet train.
As some would say, as the crow fly. Maybe as the bat fly.
I love this shot.
That's cool.
This is really cool. How are they moving that? So? I guess a motorboat? Like a motorized boat? That is a cool shot. Yeah.
It's the DJI drone, dude. Obviously.
No, Sweet Feet. I don't think it is. Look at this. I don't think this is comped at all. And again, they were filming a lot of this on location. Like, you can tell when we're in the studio with the interiors, but I think with all these exteriors, we're on location for the most part. Now that might be a model. That does look a little, I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
It's very choppy water though.
Yeah, the water,
really good.
The water looked a little strange there. I don't know. The proportions looked a little off.
Your proportions look a little off.
If Sylarn was watching right now, which I don't think he is, he would use that opportunity to make 20 fat jokes. About me, of course.
Your proportions look weird.
Your proportions look fat. That's what he would say.
Stigmata on the neck.
The Dardanelles. The fuck is a Dardanelle?
I guess the guy from the Smurfs.
You know what a Dardanelle is?
Dardanelle. I love the scratchings he's done back there on the wall. Yeah, that's Sweet Feet. That's what we were saying earlier. Yeah.
The penguin.
He's the yeah, it's from when he played the penguin. Though he also looks kind of like he could be singing the Troll Toll song as well.
This is nice. I like a good nature.
I mean, again, these on location shots. That I think is a real ship. I don't think that's a model.
That's a model right there.
Pretty cool. They got the real castle. I got the real ship.
I mean, again, it's funny to think that both this and Caligari are considered German Expressionism, but this is
what am
just
I doing in this?
a whole different kind of German Expressionism.
Yeah, they're very, very different films.
Captain, I think we got a problem over here.
Oh, I'm going to the top, Jack.
So in the opening credits in the dramatis personae, I like how this character is just credited as a captain.
Hey, Captain. Also, I'm glad you're breaking out your Latin there, Evan. Very nice use.
I'm loving all of this pipe smoke just billowing out of the sky.
You sleep really well in the hammock. I mean, speaking from experience, I've slept great in a hammock, let me tell you.
Oh, I love
Oh shit, it got dark in there fast.
Light change.
That's great.
I'm just gonna flick the lights on and off.
I mean, the cross-cutting here is also notable too. Like that idea of like, we're watching two things that are happening very far away from each other right now. Like, and you're needing to keep track of like, okay, Hutter is making his way back and Nosferatu is on the ship and we're cross-cutting between those two things. Like, and then also Knock and in the asylum and whatever, you know. I mean, it's following a lot of different narratives right now. It's very complex.
I wonder, were films really doing that back then? Because, you know, in the book, the way it's written as just like a series of like letters and diary entries and stuff, it kind of just does that by design, cuts back and forth, you know, from these viewpoints. So I wonder if that's, you know, more a result of being an adaptation.
It might be, but it's definitely kind of feels revolutionary. Like, I don't think it was being done very much at this time. I mean, I know certainly like narrative ground was being broken in how you told a story. And I mean, again, the unfortunate example is Birth of a Nation, because the way that narratively they were, you know, like telling a complex story. I mean, it was like, it wasn't really like that you know, in the early days. They didn't want to confuse the audience. So the idea that you would show 4 different narratives as they're progressing, you're going to cut between each of them. Like, you got to expect a lot of your audience to be able to follow it. But it's modern. There's something very modern about that not all the movies were taking that kind of risk. So
yeah,
I think that's why this still holds up.
It's such a strange thing to think about too. Ooh.
I did not look up how they did that, but I think it might have been in reverse. I think they maybe
How'd they lower him though?
I think they had something.
He naturally falls really slow.
Yeah, I fall in slow motion. That's kind of one of my skills. Yeah, well, I'm done. Yeah, this fucking is. I would love to know if this is in the book too, because this is also in
the lashing to the wheel.
This shot. Yeah, the lashing to the wheel.
Yeah, he does do that when the ship crashes.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. You gotta love that. Just the way he's doing his the shadow there too. Oh my god. What? Nice. Put the thing over the lens. Oh, I love the way the light is shining through the. Wow.
What's the director's name again?
F.W. Murnau.
Murnau, yeah, Murnau. He knows how to do does a lot with the light.
Yeah, I mean he really knew composition. And yeah, again, German expressionism is all about light and dark, and yeah, if you can take the time to wait for the sun to get in the exact right spot.
We're coming up on break.
Thank you, Fresh. All right, and that is our second break. Fresh, I think I got a little bit ahead to like the sunset or whatever that is, so maybe like a second or two into that. So
okay, yeah, it was the iris out from her.
Yeah, I went a few seconds after that.
Okay.
To there's like a sunset. You should see it. So like a second or two after that cut on the sunset, believe is where we're at. So that is we're 2/3 of the way through Nosferatu, the exciting middle. What do we think so far? We've gotten a lot more Nosferatu action, obviously. He's making his way to wherever in Germany, in this case.
not London.
Not London, as in the novel Dracula. Because this is an unauthorized adaptation, remember. And I didn't talk about it earlier, but it is important to note the fact that because this was an unauthorized adaptation, Bram Stoker's widow, Florence, did sue. And so the company that made this movie, Prana Films, went bankrupt. Like, they wanted to make multiple occult movies because Alban Grau, the production designer and producer, he was an occultist, apparently, like a spiritualist, and he wanted to make a whole bunch of occult movies, and then they ended up going out of business because Florence Stoker sued the shit out of them because they did this unauthorized adaptation. So the courts ordered that all prints of this movie be destroyed. And so obviously they weren't, like, throughout
thank goodness. I mean, it sucks for them, but
throughout the 30s, copies were popping up everywhere. Clips of Nosferatu were being used in other things throughout the 30s. So and Florence Stoker was ruthless about cracking down on the copyright for this. And so certain prints kept being destroyed, but eventually
I can get like being mad about somebody using your late husband's intellectual property without your permission, but like if they do it really well, then maybe like give them a pass, or like
maybe find a way to profit off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take advantage of that in some way instead of just being like, no, I don't like it. That's not good. Yeah, Florence Stoker really did not like it. And so, there were different times where courts would say destroy this print, destroy that print, but it ended up getting out, and in the 60s, it basically ended up being in the public domain of the United States because there was a particular copy that was going around which has English titles and it's in black and white. There's no tinting. So that's obviously not what we're watching tonight. I wanted to get the pure unfiltered version. And so, but because it was public domain, the movie was at a certain point in the United States, it really started getting ubiquitous. And it got to the point where This movie, if you didn't know, has been remade very prominently in 1979 by Werner Herzog. And if you don't know the name Werner Herzog, if you heard his voice, you would know exactly who I'm talking about. He's German and he talks like this and he narrates something. He's very poetic and that was a terrible Werner Herzog impression, but he's great.
Everybody just look up Werner Herzog.
Look up Werner Herzog and but he considers the version of Nosferatu that we're watching tonight to be like the best German movie of all time. So he decided that he wanted to pay homage to it. And when the novel entered public domain, that's when he just said, all right, I'm going to do this.
There you go.
He's like, all right, it's time. So that's the first trailer we're going to see is for Nosferatu the Vampire, as they spell it that's the title for the American release, and that's the trailer that we're gonna see, and it stars Klaus Kinski as the vampire. He's a crazy German actor that collaborated with Werner Herzog a bunch, and they like had a very tense relationship. Like there was a time they filmed a movie in like the jungle, and the people who lived there were like offering to kill Klaus Kinski to make the director's life a little easier because Klaus Kinski was such a personality. But he plays Nosferatu in this movie, and the makeup is exactly like Count Orlock, but it's Klaus Kinski, so he makes it his own. But this movie is kind of like very much it was made in 1979, so it is a very artistic kind of remake, and it does different things. It's not like a shot for shot remake, but it is almost like an 80s version of expressionism. He tries to recreate shots but does them in a totally different way. And so it's really cool. I haven't seen it. I know it's really bad. I haven't seen it because I like Werner Herzog. I've watched some of it. He does some great stuff. So that's the first trailer we're gonna see. The second trailer. So we've been talking a lot tonight. You were making some jokes earlier about F.W. Murnau and like you get a vampire on camera. He's not gonna show up on camera, right? So there was a movie that came out in 2000 called Shadow of the Vampire. And it's a fictionalized version of the making of tonight's film, produced by Nicolas Cage. And the whole
because of course it was.
Because of course it is. But the whole premise of the movie is that F.W. Murnau got a real vampire to play Count Orlock. And so he's trying to make this movie, but Count Orlock starts eating all the people who are like involved in the making of it. And he's basically being a diva and like using the fact that he is a real vampire as leverage over F.W. Murnau. And F.W. Murnau is getting like very, he's being very much a dictator, which, like, as we said earlier, in real life, he was not that way. But in the movie, he is that way. So the cast of this movie is a dream. F.W. Murnau is played by John Malkovich.
Wow.
And the actor who's playing Count Orlock tonight, his name is Max Schreck in the movie. In this version that we're watching, the actor's name is Max Schreck. Schreck is apparently German for terror. So a lot of people didn't think Max Schreck was a real person. They just thought that was like some other actor's stage name, and maybe this was all just publicity. And so the actor playing Max Schreck in Shadow of the Vampire is Willem Dafoe. And I mean, it is amazing. He was actually nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for playing for Max Schreck in this movie in the year 2000.
Huh.
So we have to see this trailer. So even though we're using it under the auspices of fair use, I'm going to say it right now. I'll try to have some commentary under the trailer, but I just have to show this trailer because this movie has to be seen to be believed. It is great. Yes, somebody once told me. Yeah, that's right, Fresh. But no, so we're gonna see these two trailers, Nosferatu the Vampire and Shadow of the Vampire. And when we come back, we're gonna get into the exciting conclusion of Nosferatu Symphony of Horror. So stick around, we'll be right back.
At midnight, all sorts of evil spirits are set loose. People disappear without a trace.
Last night, after a tiresome journey, I finally reached my destination, the castle of Count Dracula.
The ship seems burdened with a curse. One sailor and our cook have disappeared without a trace.
Nosferatu, the Vampire, coming from 20th Century Fox. Nosferatu, the Vampire, a film unlike any Dracula film ever made.
Okay, we're
Nosferatu.
All right.
The Vampire.
A very goth 1979 art. You gotta love it. Okay, so this is.
I want to see that on the side of a van.
Right. Yeah, that's. You will. Airbrushed.
Iris in. Begin. It's been a fitful night, but you wake refreshed.
Yeah, Sweet Pete, I'm gonna touch on that.
It's a book about vampires.
Nosferatu. Director F.W. Murnau had an obsession to create the world's
This is such a 2000s trailer, if you ask me.
the narrator.
The overture to our Symphony of Horrors.
That's Willem Dafoe. Look at Willem Dafoe.
I'd like some makeup.
Well, you don't get him.
He didn't just play
It's
the
weird
part.
seeing him walk.
But you're not feeding. No, you're not drinking her blood.
Yeah, no,
Lived it.
What is the matter with you?
Where did you find
But
him?
this is the whole thing. He's a real
From
vampire.
Lionsgate Films and producer Nicolas Cage comes the haunting tale of the
Why did you
uncompromising,
say drop the
You will have no
movie
close-ups.
trailer?
the unimaginable,
That's not as much as it meant.
and the undead.
It just depends. Like, yeah, back then it was more of a big
Academy
deal.
Award nominees John Malkovich
I will finish my picture.
and Willem Dafoe,
This is hardly your picture any longer.
Shadow of the Vampire.
Academy Award nominated for that.
How
No.
dare you destroy my photographer? Why not the script girl?
I'll eat her later.
So that was the.
That is fun.
That was, yes, it is a very fun movie. Shadow of the Vampire, Willem Dafoe as Max Schreck, Count Orlock, and John Malkovich as F.W. Murnau. It is a bonkers movie.
So much more animated. It's so, as we've seen tonight, Orlock is stiff as a board walking around.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny seeing Shadow of the Vampire, because the way that Willem Dafoe plays him is like a true diva. Like, he is like, like very expressive, like behind the scenes. And I mean, like there is a scene in that movie where he gets drunk, and it is like he drinks the blood of a guy who was really drunk, so then he's drunk, and it is so funny. Like he's like telling these guys this, like maybe like the story of how he became a vampire, like he's telling them some story, and they're like very enthralled. And then all of a sudden, like a bat flies overhead, and he just like scoops it out of the air and just starts feeding on it. And so like that alone is like warrants an Academy Award nomination. And it is great. I love Shadow the Vampire. I saw it probably when I was like 7 or 8 or 9. Shouldn't have watched it at that age because I had nightmares that night. Like soon as like we turned off the lights, I just started seeing that face of Count Orlock, and I couldn't go to sleep because like even in Shadow of the Vampire, which is actually a really funny movie, that look is just,
it's hard to get past that.
Hard to get past. So it's so funny when you see how ubiquitous that look has become in pop culture. You think about SpongeBob, where they use his the Nosferatu images for the hash slinging slasher. You think about Salem's Lot, the original miniseries. If you haven't seen it, the vampire in that Barlow, it's the same makeup plus some like contact lenses that really like probably I think really hurt that actor because they're like they look really good but they're probably painful as hell. It's kind of like the movie makeup thing with contacts. They hurt.
Well, you know, so we've talked a little bit tonight about, you know,
right,
stuff like that. You know, this rendition of a vampire, isn't it kind of closer to like pre-Dracula, you know, kind of folkloric depictions?
You're 100% right. Yeah, that was what they leaned more into. So the screenwriter of tonight's film, Heinrich Galeen, he actually also wrote The Golem, which we watched. Yeah, and yeah, he did draw more on the more European, the more like Slovakian and more. There's just all the regions that vampire myths kind of originate from. What part of Europe? Would you say Eastern Europe? Like what? I don't know where you would say that the vampire myths kind of originate out of, but they were definitely drawing more off that than just off Dracula here. You're right.
Yeah. You know, I what's interesting is that in the way that it's you know, not being Dracula, it's being a little more authentic to the myth, in, you know, the way that Dracula itself is a little bit a departure from the myth.
That's actually a really good point. And I think that we're going to see that really come into play at the climax. Because, I mean, again, I guess, Evan, you've seen this before. I've seen this before. We know how it ends,
yeah,
right?
Know how
but I don't know if
everybody can guess how this is going to
talk about it because it actually did kind of set some precedents. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about it when it comes up. But it is certainly, again, this is the first real vampire movie. So they're not just using Dracula. It is important. I'm glad that, Evan, you made that distinction because it is going far beyond just Dracula as source material and really trying to draw on vampire folklore more broadly across Europe as opposed to just this novel by Bram Stoker. Yeah, I think we're about to get into the exciting conclusion of Nosferatu, if Fresh has it queued up. Did we lose Fresh for like the first time tonight?
Oh, that was my bad.
No, he's there. Oh, okay. I was like,
I got it queued up.
Okay, great. Thank you, Fresh. All right, well, since he has it queued up, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Nosferatu Symphony of Horror right now.
Symphony of Horror is my favorite
Fresh.
Castlevania game.
Yeah, you were gonna stop at the iris out of
I
her,
did.
but I got it.
I was
got it
like,
lined up with you.
I was literally right there with that iris, so okay.
Yeah. I got you.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. When you said the sunset, I was like, okay, I know where you are.
Yeah. I like jumped the gun, but it's probably better that I jumped the gun because then I would have missed. If I'm not, I would have missed it completely. Sorry, Evan. What? The moment has passed.
You had to have been there.
You had to.
So I might just not be following. Why did he want to get on a boat as Nosferatu?
So in the book, Dracula lives in Castle Dracula, and he's out in the countryside, and all of the villagers terrified of him, and the castle's kind of falling apart. So he decides to move to London. There's a lot of people around him. And it's not really, like being explained in this, but that's the idea.
Okay, so he's just trying to get away to go somewhere where he has a fresh new start.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he can feed on a bunch of people. In not London, in whatever city they're going to in this one.
Again, I don't know about the novel, but even like later adaptations like Son of Dracula, they play on that idea of, in Son of Dracula, Dracula comes to America because he's like, here you've got fresh blood, you're young and vital, because this is World War II time. So they were also trying to, give the troops a morale boost while also making a horror movie. I love this ocean, these waves. This that's how waves always look. The ocean always looks the same. Seeing something from 1922 is no different, man. Like,
I love those nature shots, man. They kind of ground the whole thing.
It's true. It does really add a lot to the atmosphere and just the way that they're telling the story. Now, this has to be like a model or something. This is fucking wild. Maybe it's real. Look at this shot. Real? I guess.
I don't know. I mean,
I didn't look up enough about the boat.
If they were allowed to use this boat, then why not?
I failed in my research tonight, boys. This is. I'll go ahead and. Yes. Cue up the failure tunnel for me, Fresh. I see you're already doing it. That's good. I'm in the failure tunnel now. Act natural, just.
This is how people sit on the bed, right?
This is how a sane person would sit on a bed, right? Stop motion.
It's like you're playing an old FMV game.
The frame rate just dipped a little. Guys, I'm buffering. I'm lagging.
The fingernails, man. That's the thing that Shadow the Vampire takes advantage of, is like that idea that those are his real fingernails. And like in Shadow the Vampire, he'll click them against each other to make an intimidating noise, and you're just like, oh fuck.
Creepy.
It is creepy as hell.
This guard is terrible. Every time he walks in the room, he turns his back on Renfield, whatever his name.
Again, Lugosi's Dracula, the attendant watching Renfield is the comic relief. He's like, okay, Fly Eater, let's go. He's just making fun of him. Oh, blimey. It's just God damn it. Martin, I think is his name.
Dude. Man, I love Fat Boy Slim.
I like the way you came out of that fresh. With your Seth Rogen laugh. Oh, I'm sorry. Your fresh Rogen laugh. Sorry. Sorry, my apologies.
He's got the trademark fresh Rogen laugh.
My condolences.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother.
Very light.
Yeah.
All this dirt is actually super
He becomes
light.
a little less intimidating when he's just carrying this huge coffin.
But you see what
the rules are that he can't be seen by anybody, or else they know he's a vampire.
That's true. But you see, like, the difference here between, like, the tinting is supposed to imply that it's night versus if you're seeing this in black and white. It's
yeah, you might think he's just walking around.
And it's obviously being shot day for night.
Right, yeah. I'm glad you actually pointed that out because I just assumed it was daytime.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, why is he doing this?
He was just being weird.
It's all in the tinting.
Now it's daytime inside. Right here.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Can we have some sun? We have sun at home.
The sun at home, a shitty little lantern. And
I think Fresh is short-circuiting.
that is actually how vampires hear, unfortunately. It's all jarbled up.
Is he controlling this boat with his mind?
Yep. He's like Lon Chaney Jr. in Son of Dracula. He's riding he's riding his coffin on a swamp in a swamp.
Oh my God.
Again, why is he carrying the coffin?
Yeah, he could just like telekinesis it, right? If he can, if he can do that,
it.
if he can just dissipate it, you know.
You could just hire somebody to move it, like in the book.
That's Renfield, right?
I think in the book it's just some like.
Did you see that? I don't think I've ever seen the bites right here on the Adam's apple. On the Adam's apple.
Well, that is me right there, obviously.
Obviously. Obvi.
Look at that neck beard. That's me.
Hey, that is definitely you. Not a living soul.
Yeah, we checked for souls as well.
A lot of bodies, no souls.
Look at that hat. I've never seen such a sailor. That guy looks like he belongs on a box of fish sticks.
He's on the front of Hungry Man.
I'm the new Mrs. Pell's mascot. I think Mrs. Pell's was the commercial that Orson Welles did where he yelled at the people. Not the one where he got drunk, just to be clear.
I might have still been drunk.
I might have been. No, he sounded very sober and angry, honestly. Like, angry Orson Welles, sober.
So it might have been better if he was drunk.
Yeah, it probably would have been just more confused if he was drunk. He doesn't do anything?
Sorry, doesn't do anything.
Action, Orson, please. Ah!
Action, Orson. Oh,
The French.
They don't say action and go. They say action, Orson, please, and then go.
Gotta give the man his cue. He's a professional.
Action. That means you too, Orson.
Ah!
That guy's hat is taller. It means that he's more.
The taller your hat is, the more in high society you are. The higher in society you are.
That's how everybody knows.
Well, I want to be the guy that just stands there.
I want to be the guy that barges in, like, moves past everybody. Look at me, I've got my giant book. Edgar Allan Poe over here.
Guys, look at this big ass fucking book. I know the guy's dead, but check out this book.
Captain's log. Stardate. Unknown. Oh, William Shatner. Did you hear he regenerates every 7 years? That's what he said in an interview.
He's like,
you know
Doctor
why it's
Who.
called a captain's log? Do you know why?
Tell us, Fresh.
Because you would measure the speed of your boat by throwing a log overboard with knots tied in it. And however many it pulled out going behind you is how many knots you were going.
Okay.
And you would record that in your log book.
Stop it.
That's true. That's true. That's why it's called a log.
And that's why they're called knots.
Yeah. I bet you guys didn't know that.
Well, we've all learned a little bit here tonight.
It's just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah, Fresh, did you happen to learn that information from a fax, maybe that said pass this on to 10 of your friends, or
Yeah, chain fax came in the other day.
It's about
Or
time.
you'll have bad luck.
I hope you forwarded it to 20 people. Oh, there it is.
Oh, here we
Finally. I was waiting for that fax to come in. What's it say?
I can't read this.
No. That's where you do the Three Stooges joke where you hear that noise and then somebody goes, well, what did they say? And you go,
I don't know. I picked up the phone attached to the fax machine and it just went.
They've gotten so much mileage off of that joke. They probably used it like 40 times. What's it say?
It doesn't say anything. It's a book.
No, then they just hit each other after that. Slap the shit out of each other.
When all else fails.
That's comedy. That's slapstick.
Why would you hang out with people that just hit you? Like, why are they friends?
Well, two of them are brothers, so they're just stuck together. And then, yeah, Larry, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know why Larry couldn't get away. It's abusive relationships.
I really like these guys that beat the fuck out of me all the time.
Okay, Porcupine. Yeah, yes. Love. There's only 4 Three Stooges shorts in the public domain. We'll get to them eventually, but we can't watch them.
Are there any horror ones?
No, unfortunately not in the public domain. They did some spooky shorts, but it's all comedy, obviously. But those are like 15 minutes, so we can't ever show them as like, you know, in the pre-roll. It's too long. So, if you're trying to follow along, basically, Nosferatu on that ship has brought the plague to this town. So people are dying, and Ellen is under the spell of Nosferatu, and Hutter, he's come back, and I guess he's not like affected by the vampire bite that he got. He's trying to help her, but
you know, bringing the plague to town is really good cover if you're a vampire.
Right.
People are dying right
now. Chalk it up to that plague. Oh, I'm so tired. I just can't read more than 2 pages. Take heed that his shadow not encumber thee.
Still reading the same book.
It is. Like an incubus gruesome. I've read this before in the Vincent Price voice. A maiden holy without sin, wink. You know what that means. Without sin. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I have
the first row of the cock. That's what it said. Oh God.
Have Jonathan and Mina been getting into any
Oh no. See, look, you see that's Nosferatu's place back there through the windows. It's cool. That's what I saw like in the very beginning of the movie in a very far away shot. Like that's a testament to the deep focus photography in this movie.
That's a really good detail. It would have been very easy for them to just
they didn't have to do that. Yeah.
This is what I see every evening. Just staring at me. Close the curtain.
We have curtains for a reason, all right? Puff out my chin.
Make yourself big.
You know how mad I am by how high I raise my elbows up.
I've cut it express.
Look at that. See the way they poured some water on the ground here? You know, that's like, and then the light reflecting off of it. That's
smart.
That's a technique that's used all the time now. It's been used since the old days, but it's funny to see it here. But when you spray water on the ground and then you've got a light near it, it reflects off of it. So as opposed to just having the dry ground, when you put water on it, you get that reflection. Cool stuff.
Seeing a little more depth.
100%. Who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, who is this?
I'll fetch Sievers.
Sievers.
Is this a doctor or something? Uh-oh. The vampire.
Lights out.
I love that. See, that you wouldn't get that tinting in the black and white version, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be clear why she's so afraid.
That's wild.
The whole thing with the plague makes this this vampire, this iteration of so much more dark too.
He's having more of a widespread effect than just the people that he's going around to feed on.
Yeah.
You know, he's affecting this whole community. And of course, much like the novel, he's singling out his one victim, but the fucking plague.
He's busy anyway.
Yeah, he's busy on that. I'll have my rat minions go out and do the hard stuff. The maketh the vampire forget, would that she give freely of her blood.
So this is like the strategy to beat the vampire is like almost written in a riddle right there. It's like, why can't you just say it?
I don't have time for riddles, damn it.
I want to write a recipe book where you have to solve the riddle to figure out how to cook.
That is genius.
Every ingredient, every like step. Would you still have the like 6 paragraphs about your childhood
and how much my husband loves the dish
before the recipe?
And I wouldn't have a skip the recipe button.
That's just evil.
Figure it out. Scroll down.
Read my blog, damn it. How'd you get up there, Renfield?
My guards are just fucking awful at their job, so it was a piece of cake to get up here. See you guys later, bye. Whoop.
All of these people after this?
I guess so, man. There's a crazy guy loose. Let's get him. Corner him. That's like a spoiler alert for Halloween Kills. That's basically what that whole movie is. It's a cop-out, but you're just chasing around a random crazy guy. Like, he's the one responsible for all this. Let's get him. It's like, bro, he ain't the one you gotta worry about. The big bad is off singling somebody out. Here it's Nosferatu and Ellen. There it's Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Come on now.
So the
Scooby-Doo, let's not Scooby-Doo this, all right?
The whole Renfield arc in this movie feels very like kind of tangential.
Would you say tacked on? I think tangential is the better description than I wouldn't say it's tacked on, but yeah, it doesn't.
I'm just waiting for it to kind of tie into everything. Like
you better hurry. You don't have long.
Right? Yeah, I was saying over the break that, like, you know, this is a lot of book to like cram into a what is this, like hour 20-minute movie?
Yeah.
Right. Hour 30.
Hour 30. So, like, a lot of these plot threads are just really being kind of rushed through or kind of skipped. It's interesting that they chose to, you know, keep crazy guy.
Yeah, like when you're cutting all these other things. All right, give me angry.
Angrier. Okay, now I have classical music again.
That's so weird. I mean, again, the focus of all this is kind of wild. I mean, the fact that he's in focus back there, she was in focus in the foreground.
So creepy. He feels so much more dead than Dracula, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Between Lugosi and Christopher Lee, it's kind of the same look.
Yeah,
and
Dracula's always supposed to be kind of charming, and this guy is not.
No, they do not make much of an effort to try and make him charming, and I don't blame him. He should be a monster.
So he just doesn't.
All right, Vogue, strike a pose. I love.
What do I do with my hands?
So I just I've been seeing that more and more lately. People not knowing what to do with their hands. I'm like, come on, why are people not instructing you?
How did everybody miss this seminar?
I thought it was just passed down from one generation to another.
Oh, your parents didn't
They
teach you what to do with your hands?
Your elders didn't teach you what to do with your hands? This is a very specific gripe I actually have, but I won't go into it here.
Yeah, I thought you were kidding.
No, I'm not. It's actually something with my alma mater. People don't know what it means to throw up the dub. You can't even see it here on my... Wait, I gotta back up. You throw up the dub.
It's for Wu-Tang.
It's for Wu-Tang, but it's also UNC dub. The dub.
Boo.
W.
If you win,
it's for our...
If you're doing sports and you're winning, and you're with in an organization that has a dub... Oh, that was iconic, yes.
We almost missed it.
You have to pay tribute to our image here in the corner of the screen. This is one of our signature images. Look at the lighting even back there with his domicile.
So creepy.
So good. And it's funny the way Shadow the Vampire plays on all that.
Wake up! Wake the fuck up!
Oh, hey, Professor, we haven't seen you in freaking 60 minutes.
Yeah, is this our Van Helsing?
This is our Van Helsing. We saw him like one time.
Okay, it's time to wake up, Van Helsing. We got a vampire.
That's how it's felt. Where
the hell have you
Where's
been?
Van Helsing? Oh, he's been asleep. We got to go wake him up.
It's the end of the movie, man. What are you talking about? He's been asleep.
Damn.
Oh. It said something about that.
God, look how creepy he is. I mean, it's makeup, but that's some fucking terrifying makeup. Like,
it's some good acting.
Do you
too.
think
I mean,
that he shaved his head bald, or do you think that that's like a bald cap? It doesn't. It looks really good. I don't think it's a bald cap. Like, and if his head is that bony, that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I wonder what this guy actually looks like.
I mean, I've seen pictures of him. He has hair. He looks like a normal guy.
Get down, Danny. Oh, sun's coming up. That's pretty cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, pretty good. Good effect.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, he's realizing.
I can see him in the mirror, though, not a real vampire.
Well, he's
good eye there, Fresh. That's actually...
He's about to not be a real vampire.
Pile of dust.
That's my face too after that happened.
Oh no. The master is...
So, as much as I'd love to give the win to Mina here, give her a little more agency for, like the book said, tricking, forget it, sun coming. But it kind of feels like this one's on Nosferatu, like he just lost track of time.
Right. They're definitely trying to say that she gave herself up and that put Nosferatu in the position to die. But yeah, no, it's
like get a wristwatch, Nosferatu.
Come
Orlock.
on now. Accessorize.
Van Helsing
you didn't do shit.
My work here is done.
You didn't do anything.
It's just like in the 1930 movie, he fucking put a stake through his heart. Here, he's just...
Time for my nap now. After a long day's work.
Back to bed.
The vampire is no more. Witness the miracle on the heels of the truth. At that very hour, the great death came to an end as if confronted by the victorious radiance of the living sun.
Shadow of the Death Bird.
The Death Bird! And that
it is the ending.
was Nosferatu. So, what did we think, boys?
You know what? Honestly, I liked it way more seeing it now than the first time I saw it. Like, I think the first time I didn't really have a lot of context, that I think helps a lot. But visually, there's a lot of cool stuff in this movie. There's a reason why it has stood the test of time.
Right. I mean, that whole, like, again, I kept bringing up deep focus photography. Like, that is something that really got popular when Citizen Kane came out. And then it started to become something that was really lauded and started to be pointed out more. And people before Orson Welles obviously used it, John Ford, and we're seeing it here. But you know, a lot of times, especially in Hollywood, people weren't taking the time to compose a shot that you could see so far in the distance some small thing that was vitally important. I imagine that took a lot more time and effort to set up.
We're kind of used to sitcom sets.
Yeah, definitely on the Scream stream, for sure.
Yeah, very lucky. We're lucky that this still exists.
You're 100% right, S-Sync. Like, again, the version that we watched tonight it's a restored version of the original, but a lot of the public domain versions are just straight black and white, especially in America, the English intertitles. It's cool here to get not only the original intertitles and the original tinting, but also a reconstruction of the original score. It helps you see what, like, it's a big deal in terms of film history, but like, this was considered a low budget movie and it was not considered a success when it came out, especially because all the lawsuit stuff and the fact that it bankrupted the studio that made it. So it was not considered a success, but now, I mean, again, we talked about some of the influences earlier. It's being remade as we speak by Robert Eggers, who did The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Northman, or The Norseman. I can't remember what it's called. But Robert Eggers has wanted to remake Nosferatu for a while, but he's also been quoted as saying, like, it feels blasphemous to remake Nosferatu. Like, I don't know if I should, but he's hired what's his name? Skarsgård. He's hired Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the It movies,
to be Nosferatu.
To play Nosferatu.
Okay. Okay.
So
I think if anyone It should be him.
And he's hired Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp, to play the Ellen role. And there's other people that they just announced like this past week that have joined the cast, and they've got big names. I mean, there were bigger names attached earlier, like Harry Styles was supposed to play, I think, the Hutter role. I think he dropped out. And they announced, like, I think somebody who sounds like that's probably the role they took, but I can't remember who it was. But that's, there's going to be a big budget A24, I imagine, remake of Nosferatu coming out. So be on the lookout for it. I don't know. Robert Eggers is the kind of guy, he may tint it. And because he's done, if you didn't see The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe, who played Count Orlock, interestingly enough, that movie's black and white. But it'd be interesting if Robert Eggers decided to go tinted with it. I probably won't. It'll probably be color. But at that point, you might as well just go watch Werner's movie, which I haven't seen. So after this, if you liked this, go watch Werner Herzog's movie, Nosferatu the Vampire, because it's just another. There's been so many Dracula adaptations. Again, if you haven't seen Bela Lugosi's Dracula, there's actually more parallels probably between this and Bela Lugosi's Dracula than this and the novel Dracula. I think that Bela Lugosi's movie probably took more from Nosferatu
than it did the book.
Yeah, I think so. And again, so the big thing here actually is the whole idea that the vampire could be destroyed by daylight actually comes from this movie, that piece of vampire lore.
Yeah, that is really interesting because, like, that's, kind of the number one thing that you would think now. Vampire, how do you get rid of a vampire with sunlight?
And you would think that would have come from the Dracula novel, but apparently in the novel he's just weakened by sunlight.
It's a stake.
Right, the stake is what does him in Dracula, but here they use sunlight as the definitive, like one of the definitive ways to get rid of a vampire, and that has been a trope that's carried on to this day. That's, some people are like, oh, well, our vampires are immune to sunlight. I think that's a Twilight thing.
Well, I mean, they're more like the original Count Dracula,
the Stoker version,
the Stoker Dracula.
Right.
He's just a night owl. He just sleeps during the day.
Right. He's just a party boy. Up all night, sleeps all day. What do you do?
He's too busy keeping the castle running. He doesn't have any servants.
Yeah, where the fuck were they the whole time?
He's scrubbing dishes all night long.
Busy man. But yeah, so that was Nosferatu. Again, that's the first time I've sat all the way through it, and you have to appreciate the imagery. That was definitely, Murnau as a filmmaker obviously had a lot of talent, and so it was on full display here. And I mean, I think if we're gonna rank the silent movies we've seen so far, I think I'd say Caligari, this, and then probably Phantom Carriage, and then Gollum, and then Hunchback. I think that's my.
I think I enjoyed the Air Golem a bit more.
More than
I'd probably
tonight's
rank it
movie?
above Carriage, but
Did you like it more than Nosferatu?
oh no. It's a hard call. It might be a tie between this and Caligari.
But you liked Golem more than Phantom Carriage.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, very nice, very nice. That's good to know. Would you put Hunchback at the bottom of your list?
Probably. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah. Fresh. I know that you've got the definitive ranking of silent.
Are they all tied for bottom?
Movies. Yeah, they're all.
Everything's tied for last.
They're all 5. They're all number 5. Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Fresh. they're certainly not for everybody, but I mean, again, Nosferatu, I think fresh. I mean, I think even you can appreciate the imagery, right?
Nope.
Nope, and I'm out.
Nope.
I'll see you guys Monday. Hated it. Terrible. Awful. I mean, it is.
Yeah, as far as all the silent ones we watched, this is probably my favorite.
Really? You like it more than, or you were not here when we saw Caligari, or you were in chat, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
I believe that you were, yeah. So yeah, I think of definitely of your presence here, Nosferatu is definitely the most high quality that we've seen. There was definitely definitely a lot to keep you interested visually and story wise. I mean, just the Dracula story. It's a classic horror story, you know?
No, I was on for Caligari. I remember that.
Yeah. No. I felt like I remember you cracking jokes. And I mean, if we, Caligari was fun. And again, I had a lot of fun with Nosferatu tonight. Having not watched it all the way through, I was actually really pleasantly surprised to see that it's not just relying on Nosferatu the vampire. The imagery and the allegory, especially with all the plague stuff, it is trying to tell like a very big story. And I can definitely appreciate that for the time period of silent movies being what it was. I mean, certainly not all so like big and so goal oriented, but this was a lot of fun. So that was Nosferatu, and we will not be broadcasting an episode next Friday. Unfortunately, we'll be off. We're gonna be busy. But we may do a mini-sode on Wednesday. I'm not quite sure. We'll kind of play that by ear, so be on the lookout. Another exciting installment of Lights Out. It's actually been Lights Out. I mean, again, last week's episode, I wasn't as sold on until the end credits, which sounds crazy for me to say, but they were actually doing something with their end credits. So I was like, okay, they're trying to make me think more of this than just, all right, it's over, done.
The ending was neat.
The ending was neat. And so we're only 2 episodes in, but it has not disappointed. So we may do a Lights Out episode next week. We'll see. But we will not be having a Friday episode, but we will be back the next Friday for our 3rd episode of season 5, and we're swinging the pendulum back in the other direction. So we went from one of the early...
What's the opposite of a silent movie?
Lots of sound.
A really loud one.
From the earliest movie...
A movie that's only sound.
It's...
Oh.
Yep, no visuals, just audio. No. It's actually I don't think it's the latest movie that we're going to see on the stream, but it's probably in the top 5. It's from 1979, and it's a movie called The Driller Killer. And the title is more salacious than the movie itself. I don't think that it...
Driller Killer.
Yeah, can we get a hint on what this movie might be about? Or do you want to leave us on the
That's
dark?
almost... I think this title is almost as self-explanatory as Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter, okay? I don't think... The Driller Killer, it does exactly what it sounds like, but it also takes a while to get there, from what I've heard. I haven't seen it, but apparently the drillin' killings don't happen until a little bit.
Okay.
So it's
I love when we have a newer movie, because for a newer movie to be in the public domain, it has to be like especially bad.
Well, this is actually, I think it's actually considered pretty decent. The director,
some good ones from the 70s.
The director would go on to make some like big movies in the 80s and 90s, and he I mean, he also stars in The Driller Killer. He plays the Driller Killer, but he would I think now he's still directing, or he's still like talks about his movies. I don't know, but he made a vampire movie with Christopher Walken, called I can't remember what it's called, but I think it may be called The Addiction, because it equates vampirism to addiction, and it's like about a grad student who gets mixed up with vampires, and she becomes a vampire. And what's his name? Who did I say? Christopher Walken is one of the big vampires. So that's kind of, it's almost like Nick Cage level, which again, Nick Cage coming out, he's playing Dracula in Renfield, which is coming out soon. So, not Nosferatu, but Nicolas Cage produced Shadow of the Vampire, which is a Nosferatu movie. So I think he's a big Nosferatu fan. I think he actually wanted to play Nosferatu in Shadow of the Vampire, and then he couldn't do it, so he just produced it. When he found out Willem Dafoe wanted to play Nosferatu, he's like, I'll let Willem do it, and I'll just produce it. It's a good call.
There's always going to be more Draculas. That's like the one classic monster that they're going to make.
You're 100% right. I think I've read in different polls, that Dracula is the most popular adapted movie monster compared to like Frankenstein. Like Dracula has been more adapted than Frankenstein has been. And then anything else you can think of, like a Mummy or Invisible Man or whatever else, comes
definitely way below.
Way below. So Dracula is definitely the top.
King.
And
he's the Count.
He's the Count, and Nosferatu is one of those influential vampire movies. So we were really happy to share it with everybody tonight. It was a lot of fun. Again, we will be back. We may be there on Wednesday, but we'll be back 2 weeks from now with The Driller Killer. That'll be a lot of fun. You can follow us over on YouTube. Subscribe to us at Scream Stream Show. We're over at all the socials at Scream Stream Show. You can find me on the socials at Spakenstein. You can find Fresh Rogan on the socials at Fresh Rogan. Anything you're trying to plug, Fresh?
Not at the moment.
But be on the lookout. He'll have something eventually. And fresh to the socials is Mr. Evan Sink on Twitter. You can find him. What's your handle, Evan?
I'm at Caligari Cursed.
What'd he say? Yeah. Who was it? Naughty. Yeah, so you can find Evan at Caligari Cursed. We've been trying to indoctrinate him on Twitter. It's
I'm warming up to it.
You're warming up. You gotta start following more people.
I'm following people.
I saw that you're following our prophet, but I didn't know our prophet Tim Heidecker.
Yeah, if I just think of a person, I think sometimes maybe they're on Twitter.
You know what you need to follow? It's not even a person. You need to follow the I Think You Should Leave meme page. Because guess what? If you're an I Think You Should Leave fan, Netflix announced today that season 4 is premiering May 30th.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. We love I Think You Should Leave. So not to like totally hijack the stream when we're signing off or anything, but
he's not to hijack your own stream.
Yeah. Oh, S-Sync, you like it. You're excited. Don't even play. You love it. No, we're very excited for that. But yeah, so we will be back in 2 weeks with some more public domain horror. But anything else before we sign off tonight, boys?
Orlock sucks.
Oh my god.
That he does. All right, well, until next time, sweet screams, everybody. Sweet screams, everybody.
Creep tight.
Gives you all a good fright.